Your diet isn't bad because you made bad choices. It's bad because in 1992, someone rewrote a government nutrition document to sell more bread. You ate the results for 30 years. Then, recently, the government finally flipped it upside down and called the old version what it was. You probably think this doesn't apply to you. You eat clean. You hit your protein. You're not the one this is about. Bet you're hitting 0.8 grams per kilogram, maybe a little over, feeling pretty good about it. That's the number that was wrong. That's the one we're here to talk about. There's a number that's been floating around for decades. 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. You've seen it on nutrition sites. Your doctors probably said it. It's in every Eat Healthy guide that's ever existed. That number was built for people who don't train, sedentary adults. People who sit at a desk, go home, sit on a couch, and ask nothing of their muscles. That's who 0.8 grams was designed for. If you're doing pull-ups, dips, rows, anything that asks your body to produce force and recover from it, you're not that person. You never were. The International Society of Sports Nutrition puts the range for people who actually train at 1.4 to 2 grams per kilogram per day. For a 175-pound person, that's a gap of roughly 60 grams a day. That's 3 eggs, 2 chicken thighs, a Greek yogurt, and a shake on top of whatever you are already eating. Missing. Every single day. The plateau that you keep blaming on your program, the muscle that won't come in no matter how consistent you are, you've been sending the signal to build and cutting the supply line at the same time. Your body tried. You just never gave it the material. Quick one before you say it. Doesn't high protein damage your kidneys? No. That myth comes from kidney patients. People who already have kidney disease being told to limit protein because their kidneys can't filter it. Healthy people training hard? Multiple long-term studies show no kidney damage from intakes up to 2 grams per kilogram. Your kidneys are not made of paper. Move on. So, where did 0.8 come from, and why did it stick for so long? Meet Louise Light, USDA nutritionist, early 1980s. She was hired to design what would become the official food pyramid. Her version recommended 2 to 3 servings of whole grains, moderate, based on actual science. By the time the Secretary of Agriculture's office touched it, that number had become 6 to 11 servings. The whole grain specification quietly removed. A wheat lobbyist had more access to that document than the scientist who wrote it. Light warned them that it would cause an epidemic of obesity and diabetes, and they pushed it anyway. In 1980, 15% of Americans were obese. By 2025, more than 40%. Turns out, she was right. Then, January 7th, 2026, the USDA and HHS released the new Dietary Guidelines for Americans 2025 to 2030. They flipped the pyramid upside down. Protein and real food go to the top, whole grains drop to the bottom, and ultra-processed food, it gets called out by name for the first time in 45 years of federal nutrition policy. They didn't discover new science. The science was already there. They just stopped being paid to ignore it. Took them 45 years, a high obesity rate, and apparently one very uncomfortable meeting. But sure, welcome to the party. Here's what this actually means if you train. The new guidelines bumped the protein recommendation to 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilogram. Still conservative by sports science standards, but finally in the same building. For calisthenics, protein isn't just about looking bigger. It's about what happens between sessions. Every hard set of pull-ups, every dip, every row, you're creating micro damage in the muscle fibers. That damage is the signal. Protein is what your body uses to answer it, to rebuild those fibers thicker and stronger than they were before. Skip the protein, and the signal fires. The response never comes. You get soreness, stalled progress, and a body that looks almost exactly the same as it did 4 months ago. Ring a bell? There's also the processed food angle. The new guidelines explicitly call it out, and a 2024 study of over 10,000 adults found higher ultra-processed food intake directly linked to lower muscle mass, even when controlling for exercise. Meaning, you can be training and eating processed garbage and still be losing ground on muscle. The food is winning. You're working hard in one direction, and your meals are quietly working hard in the other direction. You don't need a nutrition overhaul. You need to flip your defaults the same way they just flipped the pyramid. Protein anchors every meal. Doesn't matter the source. Eggs, meat, fish, dairy, whatever you actually eat. Real food over packaged. Grains as a side, not the whole plate. That's it. 3 changes. Your pull-ups are about to go bananas. Your recovery is about to go bananas. The muscle that's been sitting at a frustrating plateau for 2 years, yeah, that's about to go bananas too. The government took 45 years and a national obesity crisis to get here. Now, you have 0 excuse to wait. You now know what to eat. That's half the equation. The other half is knowing how to train what you're actually feeding. The Calisthenics Playbook bundle. 3 books. Push, pull, squat for the fundamentals. Muscle ups for when you stop making excuses. And the meme book, because apparently roasting yourself is part of the process. Everything to build the body your protein is now actually going to support. Over 570 reviews. 4.7 stars. Link in the description. Also free. Cheat sheet on how to double your pull-ups in 30 days. Even if you can't do one right now. Link in the description. One more thing. 15% off store-wide through June 21st. Free wrist wrap on orders above $150.